In this video, we're going to find the remaining zeros of f, given the function f and one of its zeros. Let's go ahead and look at h of x is equal to 4x to the fourth plus 13x to the third plus 4x squared plus 52x minus 48 with the given zero, x equals negative 2i. We know immediately that there also has to be the second zero if x equals positive 2i, which is the complex conjugate of the given zero. Let's go ahead and write those two zeros as factors of x plus 2i and x minus 2i to multiply them together to see what I can divide by with long division to get the remaining factor. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 2i is negative 2xi. 2i times x is a positive 2xi. And 2i times negative 2i is a negative 4i squared. These zero each other out, and that leaves me with x squared. Negative 4 times a negative 1 is a positive 4. And we're going to notice in the future that anytime I multiply a plus bi times a minus bi, that's going to always equal a squared plus b squared. So we may just go ahead and do that way in the future. X squared plus 4 is my divisor. 4x to the fourth plus 13x to the third plus 4x squared plus 52x minus 48. X squared goes into 4x to the fourth, 4x squared times. That's 4x to the fourth and 16x squared. We're going to subtract. This is negative 12x squared. Bring down and bring down. X squared into 13x cubed is 13x. 13x cubed and 52x subtract gives me negative 12x squared minus 48. And that's going to be a negative 12. Negative 12x squared minus 48. Change my signs and add. I get a remainder of 0. So this is x plus 2i, x minus 2i times 4x squared plus 13x minus 12. Negative 48 is 4 times negative 12, and I want factors of that add to give me positive 13. So 8, negative 2 and 24, negative 3 and 16. That's it. So x plus 2i, x minus 2i, and then this is going to be 4x and 4. This is positive, this is negative, that's 3, and that's 1. 16 minus 3 is 13. Negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. 4 times 1 is 4. So that gives me that my first answer that was given to me was negative 2i. My second answer, which was the complex conjugate of that, was positive 2i. The third answer here is going to be 3/4. And the fourth answer here is going to be negative 4. We wanted to give all three remaining zeros other than the one that was given to us, including that complex conjugate that was guaranteed. All right, Let's go ahead and work on number 2 now. We have h of x is equal to x to the 4th minus 6x to the 3rd plus 8x squared plus 16x minus 64. And we have x1 given to us as 2 minus 2i, which means x2 has to be 2 plus 2i. We're going to turn those into factors of x minus 2 plus 2i times x minus 2 minus 2i. And we can use that idea that I just gave you with a plus bi times a minus bi equaling a squared plus b squared here, where our a is equal to x minus 2 and our b is equal to 2. So this is going to turn into x minus 2 squared plus 4 is going to be, and then remember that if I have a plus b quantity squared, that's a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. If I have a minus b squared, that's a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So this is going to be x squared minus 4x plus 4 plus another 4 is x squared minus 4x plus 8. So that x squared minus 4x plus 8 is my divisor. For x to the 4th minus 6x to the 3rd plus 8x squared plus 16x minus 64. X to the 4th divided by x squared is x squared. That's x to the 4th minus 4x to the 3rd plus 8x squared. Change my signs and add. It's going to be negative 2x to the 3rd plus 16x. I'm just going to put a 0x here as a placeholder. X squared into negative 2x to the 3rd is going to be a negative 2x. Negative 2x to the 3rd plus 8x squared minus 16x. Change my signs and add is negative 8x squared plus 32x. And bring down my negative 64. Negative 8x squared divided by x squared is negative 8. That's negative 8x squared plus 32x minus 64. I'm going to change my signs and add and get 0. So right now I have x minus 2 plus 2i times x minus 2 minus 2i times x squared minus 2x minus 8. And that's going to factor into x. This will be a negative 4 and a positive 2, giving me remaining zeros of 4 and negative 2. So this is 2 plus 2i and 4 and negative 2 for my 3 remaining zeros. Let's go ahead and clear this and work on my last one here. h of x is equal to 6x to the fifth plus 7x to the fourth plus 186x to the third plus 217x to the second minus 1080x minus 1260, and x1 is equal to negative 6i, which means x2 has to be positive 6i. I'll just give room here for x3 and x4 so I can write them for my answer. X plus 6i and x minus 6i multiply to give me x squared plus 36, using that rule that we talked about earlier with a plus bi and a minus bi. So x squared plus 36 divided into, and I'm going to try and write this small enough to fit all of it but still be legible, 86x to the third plus 217x squared minus 1080x minus 1260. Okay, so 6x to the fifth divided by x squared is going to be 6x to the third. And that's 6x to the fifth. 36 times 6 is 216. Subtract. 216 minus 186, that's 0, that's 3, that's 7x to the fourth, minus 30x to the third. Let's bring down 217x squared. This is going to be 7x squared is 7x to the fourth. 36 times 7 is 42. That's 25. That's 252x squared. Subtract. 252 minus 217 is negative 35. And bring down. This will be negative 30x. 36 times 30, 0, 18, 1080. This is negative 30x to the third minus 1080x. Change my signs and add. Negative 35x squared minus 1260. That's going to be minus 35. Negative 35x squared and 36 times 35, 30, 15, 18, 0, 18, 10, 16, 2, so that's minus 1260, add and add, that's 0. So now we have x plus 6i, x minus 6i times 6x to the third plus 7x squared minus 30x minus 35. I'm going to factor by grouping here. I'm going to factor out my x squared, 6x plus 7. And then I'm going to factor out a 5, a negative 5 here. It's going to give me 6x plus 7. And that makes this x plus 6i, x minus 6i. 6x plus 7 is my greatest common factor. Then x squared minus 5. And that becomes x plus 6i, x minus 6i. That's actually 5 answers here. X3, X4, and X5. 6x plus 7, x plus the square root of 5, and x minus the square root of 5. So my remaining answers here are, when I set each factor equal to 0, negative 7 over 6, negative square root of 5, and positive square root of 5. That's it for this video. And we'll come back next time and keep talking about 3.4. See you for the next video.